What's going on, my trainer club? Today we are going to check out my opinions on is it worth hatching tons of event eggs and eggs in general in Pokemon Go, because some guys get shinies, some people do not. Is it going to be worth your resources to max out on these events? So welcome to the trainer club. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Let me know in the comments below, how did you guys do on hatching eggs during the Sinnoh event? Because we have the Valentine's Day event, and then we have the friendship event coming up, and more events in the future that are going to include egg hatches. So I haven't done a video like this before, but I think that it's time that I give you guys some statistics as far as myself personally, hatching all these eggs. What have I gotten from my eggs of over 3,000 egg hatches? And what are my recommendations as far as hatching eggs for you guys? Because it is a big part of the game, right? Like, there's tons of things that you can get from eggs. So I'm gonna go over what my statistics looks like, and then I'm gonna give you my top 3 different reasons why I do and do not hatch eggs. So let's check this out right now. And while I am talking about this, we are going to play back my Sinnoh event hatches at the same time, so you guys can have some entertainment along with some information, so we can make sure to max out together. So here we go. I honestly did not get a shiny over the Sinnoh event. So I hatched 72 eggs over the entire event. No shiny, but honestly, 72 egg hatches, expecting to get a shiny from that many hatches is kind of actually crazy when you understand what the shiny odds actually are. Like, they're really not very high. So anybody that's a new player and you expect to come in and hatch 50 to 100 eggs and get a shiny, if you do, you are lucky. If you don't, you are lucky. Like, it's all about just hatching and having fun. So I really want to take this time to put this into perspective for you guys so you quite understand what it looks like. So before I get into it more, can you guys go and drop in the comments below, how many eggs did you hatch, if you know, and then how many shinies did you get over the Sinnoh event? I really want to see what you guys have to go. So over the entire event for the Sinnoh, I hatched 71 eggs, which had 9 Riolus, which actually was 13% of my egg hatches, which were Riolu, which is actually really high. I really like that. That for myself is worth it. And I only hatched 1 Gibble, which is about 1.4%, which is crazy to think that some people are hatching Gibbles when I only hatched 1 out of 71 eggs, which is crazy. Congrats to everybody out there that got a Gibble. But over the longevity of my Pokemon Go career, so I started playing on July 12th, which was, I think, 5 days after the launch of the game. So I was a little bit late, but I've been playing ever since. And I've hatched 3,412 eggs over that time period. And some of you guys may be like, that's a lot. Some of you guys may be like, that's not very much. For me personally, I don't go crazy with incubators and egg hatches. I just don't find them as lucrative to get shinies and other things as I could for other things. I choose to spend my money on functional things in the game. For me, that makes me feel like I get more rewards for my gameplay, like something that I can actually earn, such as like star pieces and lucky eggs. Not so much lucky eggs anymore, but star pieces, raid passes, and stuff like that, because I get more rewards with that. Granted, you do get Stardust for the eggs, which we are going to cover in a little bit, but most of the time, I feel like I wasn't really getting what I was hoping to get out of these eggs. So if we're looking in my bag right now, I'm sure I have deleted a couple 100%, but I only have 600% that have been hatched right now, which is absolutely crazy, which comes to a total of 0.1%. So not 1%, 0.1% of my entire egg hatches have been 100% out of 3,412. And then I've hatched 9 shinies. Actually, the Shinx was traded to me. I haven't got a shiny Shinx yet, so somebody wanted a shiny Moltres, so I decided to go ahead and get a shiny Shinx in return, since I was paying the Stardust to give that person that shiny Moltres. And I have 9 total hatched shinies, and I definitely have not deleted any shiny hatched Pokemon, which totals out to be 0.2% of my entire egg hatches. 0.2, not 2, 0.2 are going to be shiny Pokemon, which is absolutely mind-blowing. So if you put that into perspective, I'm hatching at 3,000 eggs, which is a pretty good sample size, 0.1%. In order for you to get a shiny from one of the events, you have to get lucky for one, and it's always going to be like 0.1% every single time, or even if it's 1% every single time. So that doesn't mean after you hatch all of the eggs that you then get that percentage point, right? Like after 100 eggs, you should get 1. That's not how it works. Every time you hatch an egg, you have 1%. So if you don't hit 1%, Theoretically, you could go indefinitely hatching eggs and never hit that 1%. Theoretically. Statistics and the averages makes it seem like you would get it at some point, but technically speaking, there is nothing that guarantees that you do get that, so I just want to make that clear for you guys. So when it comes down reasoning to me, where I spend my money, where do I allocate my resources, I would have loved to hatch a shiny Riolu. I would have loved to have hatched a shiny Gibble, and that's really what brought me back to this event, to really try to hatch some eggs. However, this is typically what I see when I go through events and I'm hatching eggs. I usually see something that looks like this, where it's like I hatch a ton of eggs and I just, in myself, don't feel the fulfillment as I do if I were to just go out and play, right? Like, granted, I can use maybe an incubator or two, but I have a bunch of incubators saved up, so I figured I might as well try to hatch a shiny Riolu just because it would be really cool if I did, and I happen to not. I don't feel any lack in myself because, honestly speaking, after hatching only 9 out of 3,412 eggs, I don't really expect that anymore. I just puts it into a perspective for me of what are my expectations out of this game. I try to do things with my resources that are going to give me joy. Catching raid bosses is fun for me. I know I'm not always going to see 100% IV. I have a video coming out about what you can expect after doing 3,000 raids coming very soon, so you guys could definitely check that up here when it comes out. But expectations and reality, just make sure that they mesh up for you guys, and that's going to help you have fun playing the game. Go outside, play raids with your friends, find a cool group, find people to hunt with. Like, that's the fun part of this game. Explore new places. That's my number one thing that I suggest you guys do, instead of expecting things to happen and then getting bummed out and saying like, oh, I'm gonna quit this game, because I see it happen a lot. That's not really where we're at as far as what Pokemon Go is really about, and none of the Pokemon games have ever really been a very easy to earn stuff. Like, it's always been a grind type game that's going to be continuing onward. So as far as cons, that would probably be my biggest con as far as hatching eggs. However, the pros are that you have the potential to hatch something good, and I'm not saying that I haven't hatched 96%, 98%. I've definitely hatched a decent amount of those, but as far as 100%, I've hatched 6. And the pros that I'm gonna give you guys is that you do get Stardust from eggs. So let's check out the Stardust graph and see how much Stardust you get per egg. And then when using star pieces or anything like that, you can definitely boost it up and help you guys get more. So let's check that out right now.
So if we wanna check out the Stardust graph for eggs and egg hatches and what you can get. So normally you're gonna get anywhere from 400 to 800 Stardust on 2-kilometer eggs. If there's an event going on, you can get anywhere from 800 to 1600. And then if you use a star piece with the event, it's going to be 1200 to 2400. So a decent amount of Stardust boost, especially when there's double Stardust coming from egg hatches, which is pretty lucrative. And then if we go from 5-kilometer eggs and 7-kilometer eggs, which are the same exact thing as far as Stardust goes, even though they're not the same exact distance, normally we get 800 to 1600. And if you go ahead and use a star piece, you know, it adds on an extra 400 for the 800. So it'd be about 1200, which is pretty good. And with an event and a star piece, it can go from 2400 to 4800, which is a pretty big jump. And then if we're looking at 10-kilometer eggs, which are the most lucrative, 1600 to 3200 without a star piece on. So 3200 dust is pretty good, approximately catching 32 Pokemon. And then if you go ahead and have an event, which is going to double the Stardust, it could go from 3200 all the way to 6400. And then if you use a star piece during that event, 4800 to 9600, which is the most lucrative. So obviously, as you can see, like, the Stardust goes up as the kilometers go up, except the differential between the 5 and the 7 kilometer. But 10 kilometers is going to be the most lucrative. Using a star piece is going to help, especially on those 10-kilometer eggs, which is why I always suggest you guys stacking those up towards community day. But as far as like consistently using star pieces on small batch hatches, I don't think it's quite worth it. It's definitely going to be more lucrative to just go out there and catch as many Pokemon in densely spawned areas. But for a pro, you do get Stardust when hatching eggs, so you might as well hatch some eggs in the meantime. It just comes down to, like, are you willing to spend the amount of money for the reward that you are going to potentially get, as we looked at in this video.
So the Stardust is definitely impactful. It definitely can help you out with all the things going on, right? We have Ultra League going on, then Master League. It costs Stardust to get more, so hatching eggs is a good thing. It's definitely beneficial. And then you just have to take into account, like, is it worth it? Do you have fun? Do you feel lack after you hatch eggs and don't get what you want, right? Like, that's really where we're at. That's really why I want to make these videos for you guys, because I don't want you guys to be having so much fun with the game and then you don't get the shiny reward and then you want to quit, because that's really not what this game is about. It's about having fun, exploring, playing with your friends, finding new locations, being out instead of inside playing a video game. That's really the crux of Pokemon Go. That's what have drawn me to this game, and that's what helps me and gives me the juice to give you guys more videos. And I know a lot of people out there have been like, oh, we really need a redo in the egg system, and I just don't foresee it happening, because that's just not what Pokemon's about. It's about the long game. It's about having fun. It's about being patient, and when that does come, man, oh man, is it going to be sweet, because it will come for you at some point or another. I promise you, it's only a matter of time. So I appreciate you guys, all my likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members, and everybody for taking their subscriptions to the next level. I'm gonna see you guys out on the next video. Peace!
I just want to take a moment and sincerely thank all of my Patreon members, everybody that has taken their subscription to the next level and chosen to support me on this platform. I greatly appreciate you guys. As a growing channel and really trying to grow and improve as much as I possibly can, I really appreciate the extra support. You guys mean the absolute world to me. I cannot wait to connect with you soon, and I appreciate you guys all for being a part of the Trainer Club. I will see you guys out on the next video.